Hello fellow simmers and welcome to my speed build. So today we will be building a restaurant in Selvadorada. It's on the lot that held the bar, what was that bar called? Árbol del Jaguar. So, which in case you didn't know is like the jaguar's tree, something like that. So, yes, so we went ahead and named our restaurant in Spanish as well, and it is El Restaurante Rustico. So, we are building it on top of, well, not really on top of, we're building it from the same like skeleton as the bar. I didn't really want to build a, like shell. So I just went ahead and deleted everything on the lot except for like the walls and the roof and the fencing, like around the edges where the pathways are and garden beds and whatnot. So I did that and I just redecorate. I kind of reshape the shell a little bit so that it kind of fits my needs better. And yeah, we just kind of do our thing from there. It was a little bit tricky. I made the bathroom smaller and I added an area for the kitchen. And so because I did reshape it a little bit, I had to reshape some of the walkways. And since I deleted the stairs, of course, by the time I got around to redoing everything, I didn't remember where everything was before, which was kind of the goal. I didn't want to remember because I didn't want it to look too much like the bar or anything like the bar. It's supposed to be my build. I just used the shell. So I couldn't get the stairs to really fit where I wanted, and I couldn't get the fencing to look nice where I wanted. So there was a lot of moving the stairs around. I especially don't like putting them right next to walls, the stairs that is, because if the stairs go up right against the wall at an angle, it cuts off part of the foundation along the wall, and I really hate how it looks. So I moved them all so that it wasn't doing that. I placed them all in locations where it wasn't going to interrupt the flow of the foundation. So right here, if you've been watching, I was trying to find the terrain paint that matched the terrain paint that's already there, and I don't think there is any. So it covers this whole lot, practically, like half the lot, but if you want to move the building around it all and still use that same terrain paint, you can't. You can't extend it. Nothing matches it. And I was really frustrated at that, so I ended up just throwing down some tile. The tile, by the way, is custom content. It just looked really good with the rest, like with the theme of the Jungle Adventure Pack, and it fit really well. So I used that. So if you download it, I guess you will have to place down a different tile. But that's the only piece of custom content I used in the whole thing. So it wouldn't be too much of a big deal to download it and just replace all that tile with the tile that comes in the Jungle Adventure Pack, which, by the way, is really pretty tile. I use the tile in this pack all the time. So I just really liked how this one looked in particular. So now I'm moving the whole building over because I could not get the fencing and stuff to work right on the other side. So yeah, I moved everything over, and I was able to make the fencing here coming off those stairs look a lot better. And of course, since the terrain paint didn't match, I ended up having to fiddle with that, and so I was trying like the different grass and different dirt, and eventually I just gave up and I made everything grass. I just colored it all in. I did not want to mess with it anymore. And it ends up looking fine. There's nothing wrong with how it looks. I just kind of wanted to keep that same, unmanicured look that the lot had, but that is not what ended up happening. I really struggled with this like landing area or whatever up top because I reshaped the rooms underneath it, so it kind of messed with how the half walls look next to the roof up there. So I did have to fiddle with it a little bit, and I ended up getting it to work all right, but I don't know. Half walls right next to roof is just gross. I can never get it to look really good. I mean, it looks okay, just not really good. So, I don't know. It's just something that I guess I'll have to work on a little bit. I really wanted the trim to go across the little landing right there in front of the stairs, but I don't know, for some reason it wouldn't go across. I think it's because there's not a room underneath it. So later I end up like closing that little area off because I'm gonna put a door in there. It's like a little walkway, but I end up closing it off and putting like an arch there that goes into the door on the inside wall. And so I'm able to add the trim across it, but then it just, after all that work, ended up looking really bad because then the stairs are right there and you can't put the trim across the top of the stairs. So after all that fidgeting, I end up not liking it anyway. That's basically what building in The Sims is like. You just mess around and experiment, and you don't like 3/4 of what you do. So I'm basically done with the outside for now. So now I'm gonna start putting wallpaper and floors and start decorating the inside. So I did mostly use the Jungle Adventure pack. So I kind of used some walls that I haven't really used a whole lot before. These tile mosaic type ones I put, I think, in basically all the rooms, and I just used different colors to kind of give it some variety. The bathrooms are interesting. Kind of just made it into like 3 separate little stalls, and so any gender can go in there. They just have regular doors on them. But you go in there and there's just a toilet in each of those little rooms, and then I have a couple sinks that will be placed outside of those 3 stalls. And there'll be 2 on the right side, and then on the left side there's a mirror. Here's where I block that off so that I can get the trim there, and then I'm like, nope, I hate it, and get rid of it anyway. The windows were fun. I say. I never have fun with the windows. I'm trying to convince myself. But I just used all Jungle Adventure windows. I think I mostly used small ones, like the ones at the front with the, I don't know, open shutter things. And then I have those little open windows on the tower. I think I put some bigger windows in the back. But, I mean, really it's, it's a restaurant. So there aren't really a whole lot. Those do not stay there, for the record. But, yeah, the windows actually weren't too bad. I make it sound like it was some terrible chore, but it really wasn't. So this open room over here that I'm putting the windows on right now, I turned it into like an open dining area, so you can get to it from the outside through that double archway, but you'll be able to get to it from inside the dining area, which is the main big room in the center of the building. And there'll be a door like toward the back on the right side that leads out into the open air dining area. And it's really quite cute. I also put the bar out there. It'll look really nice. So that room there in the middle with the blue tile is the kitchen. So right in front of that, where we're kind of looking at right now, is where I'm going to put like the hostess area. So right there's the window for the kitchen where the waiters and waitresses pick the food up. And then I'll kind of block that area off, so it's kind of like the area where the waiters and waitresses work from, kind of like you might have in an actual restaurant. So there's the bathroom. That's pretty much it. It's got the 3 toilets, the sinks, the mirror. I threw a rug in there. It was very basic, but it will be good enough for your Sims to go in there and use the bathroom. So here's the kitchen. It's really tiny, but it'll get the job done. There's the chef station, and then there's a sink and a dishwasher. And then later, when I'm going through and kind of decorating more, I end up putting like a line of utensil hangers on the back that kind of look like they're shelves. You can't actually slot anything to the top of them, but I use Alt 9 and I raise a bunch of items up and kind of stack them, not stack them, but line them up along the faux shelf, and it looks really nice. So here's where I'm kind of setting up that little waitressing area. I've got the half wall with the little greeting station there at the front. And then I've got the 3 other stations along the wall there. So I messed around with the half walls a little bit. I'm not really sure what I was going for here, but I wanted to add like another one of those like greeting stations or whatever they're called, but it wasn't working out in my favor. So I just went ahead and used a dining booth to block off the other side, and then I just started working on the seating from there. So we've got 3 little booth areas. This one is only like a half booth because there wasn't enough for another seat on that side. I tried blocking it off with a half wall, but it looked kind of ridiculous. So it's just kind of there facing the doorway, you know, heading back toward the bathrooms. So I don't know, that's just what we ended up with. I've got the 3 booths, and then I added, I do believe, 3 tables all together on the inside. And then I have 3 tables in the outside dining area as well. I really struggled to get the tables in here because I didn't want it to be too crowded, but I also didn't want there to be too much empty space. Like, I was trying really hard to find a good balance, and having all the chairs around the table was really pushing it. So I kind of moved the doors around, moved the windows around. I gave the tables different numbers of chairs so that they kind of fit into their respective spaces nicely, and it ended up working out pretty well. I'm not sure how the door and windows ended up looking from the outside of the building, but I want to say that it did end up looking nice from both the inside and the outside. So I added a bench right here as kind of like a little waiting area for when you come into the restaurant and you're waiting to be seated. And I also added a couple chairs over here for the waiters and waitresses because they should get to sit down every once in a while too. The floor was looking a little bit bare out in the dining area, so I just threw a little rug under each of the dining tables. And then I was really struggling to pick out what lights I wanted. None of them really hung down as low as I would like, which you'd think that with the dine out pack, which I did use since it's a restaurant, that there would be something that would hang down low enough that wasn't, you know, the size of a table, like the one that we just saw pop up on the screen that I looked at. But no, there is nothing like that. No little cute light bulbs that hang down like you would find in a regular restaurant. I entertained the idea of using that one from the Laundry Day pack, but it still wasn't long enough. So I ended up going with these ones. I think those are also from, no, those are from the Eco Lifestyle pack or whatever. So yeah, so that's what we ended up using there. And then I used another one over there in the employee section. So that basically sums up like the functional parts of the room. From here, I just start decorating. All the tables outside have the same number of chairs, but I kind of placed them around the patio at different angles so that it didn't look, you know, like, I don't know, too boring, I guess. Like if you have a bunch of the same objects at the same angle, it looks kind of repetitive, I guess. So I kind of turned them around and put them in at different angles. And here's the bar. I couldn't find nice blue bar stools like that would match the rest of the blue theme that the restaurant has going on. So I ended up with those kind of greenish ones, but that's all right. It works. I added those stone things on the outside, and I don't know if I do it here, but I get the little tiny saucer lights, and I go around underneath each side, and I put, I think, 3 saucer lights on each side, and so you can't even see them, but they still light up the area. So when it's dark outside, it lights up that whole patio, and it looks really cool. I placed that down because I was like, you know, maybe like they take orders and it comes up on this little bar in the kitchen, but it had the arrows on it and it was obviously supposed to be something for like stocks. So yeah, anyway, I got rid of it. If you're gonna have a restaurant, we gotta have napkin holders and salt and pepper on all the tables. So we added those in. Here's where I start stacking all my stuff along the shelf. I got the pickles, or I don't even know what that is, the peppers, a couple pots. I'll put a salt and pepper up there, another spice rack. Oh, I was just thinking there's one more thing that I put up there. It's the little utensil holder for the wooden spoons and stuff. So since this is outdoor seating, I add a couple speakers out there for one, but I also found this this outdoor like heating thing. I don't remember what it's called. Patio heating lamp, I think is what I saw. But yeah, I threw one of those out there because I mean, this world is probably pretty warm most of the time anyway, but you know, for cooler nights, I figured that we could have a patio heating lamp out there so that people can still be warm while they're dining outdoors. See, there you go. We briefly got to see what it looks like at night with the lights there. See, isn't that just so pretty? I really like it. Alright, so I think most of the decorating inside is pretty much done, so now I'm going to start landscaping. Okay, landscaping and putting plants inside the building as well. Oh, I put those flowers on there and it looked so bad and I got rid of them. They did it in the bar that was here before I, destroyed all of it and started with the restaurant. And they made it look good. I don't remember where they had it, but I just remember seeing the archway of flowers and I was like, oh, let's try that in ours. No, let's not try that in ours. It looked way too busy. It was like the only pink thing. The landscaping, it's not really super extravagant. There was a lot of yard for this being a restaurant. So I wasn't really sure what to do to fill up all the space. So I used like 4 different types of trees, all native to Selvadorada. But see, I've got those ones covered with the ivy in the back. I've got the big like bushy ones with the yellow flowers. I did use a lot of rocks because rocks are just a really good way of filling up empty space when you don't really know what else to do with it. So I threw a few rocks into that little garden bed there. And then another really good thing to use to fill up empty space are these giant ground ferns. I don't even know what they're called, but I put a whole bunch of them all over the place. They're another plant native to Selvadorada, and so I made the best out of it, and I put them all over the place because it was a really good way to, just fill up a bunch of the yard. I realized I had my stairs in the wrong place right there. Oops. I was really digging the ferns during this build. There are a lot of ferns. Here are the promised rocks, just to fill up some of the empty space, kind of pull together all these plants. And I sized them all up too. I really liked how they looked as big giant rocks rather than small ones. So I think decorating these patios is one of the last things that I did. It's basically just more seating. So I added a bunch of picnic tables here, and then I played around with putting that in the grass over there on the side. I end up putting it on the upstairs patio. I used this idea again where I put the little lights coming out of the fence. But yeah, I put that little vending table, I don't remember what it's called, upstairs. And so there's 2 of those up there, and I think a couple benches where you can sit and hang out. I got a little bit creative here. I'd used these pots in a few different places, and I didn't really want to have the same pots all over the place. So I placed those 2 in the back, and then I got that one in the front, and I used some of the other plants that I'd already used to kind of make new potted plants. And then I decided that I really wanted this fireplace. So I made room for it on the back patio. And so I moved the patio lamp up front, and then I really couldn't figure out what I wanted to put on that patio. Because I had like the little tables upstairs, and then obviously we've got the restaurant and the rest of the building. And I was like, I don't know what to put here. So after looking around for a little bit, I eventually just grabbed the food stall right here and put it down. So you come here for the restaurant, but if you don't actually want to go in and, sit down and eat, you can just come over here and grab some quick food from this little food stall that's set up outside. I think it's win-win. So I think that's about it. We're about to head into the screenshots. So thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and drop a comment to let me know what you thought. Hit subscribe if you want to know what we're up to next time. I do post speed builds every Friday, so I will see everybody then. Thanks. Bye-bye.